I didn't stop in Gray Hollow because I wanted to. I stopped because the road let me. That's the detail I keep returning to, the sense that the decision was never really mine. The highway narrowed, the rain thickened, my phone lost signal, and suddenly the forest was everywhere. Trees crowded close, their trunks pale and tall like bone pillars, branches tangled overhead until the sky felt stitched shut. Then the sign appeared. It leaned at an angle, the wood warped and dark with moisture. Welcome to Gray Hollow. Population 431. Underneath, scratched deep into the grain, uneven and desperate. If it knocks, don't let it know you're awake. I sat there with my foot on the brake for a long time. Rain ticked against the windshield. The forest made small, constant noises, leaves shifting, something moving deeper within. I told myself it was nothing. A prank. Local flavor. I drove on. Gray Hollow didn't ease into view like a normal town. There was no gradual thinning of trees, no sense of transition. One moment it was forest, the next it was there. Half a dozen buildings clustered tightly together as if afraid of what surrounded them. No people, no lights, except the motel. The Pine Rest Motel. The neon sign flickered weakly, buzzing like an insect trapped in glass. The building sat with its back pressed directly against the forest, trees so close their branches scraped the roof. I remember thinking it looked less like a place to stay and more like something hiding. Inside, the office smelled of dust and stale smoke. A bell sat on the counter, but before I could ring it, a man stepped out from the back. He startled me, not because he moved suddenly, but because he seemed already aware of me, like I'd interrupted him waiting. He was thin, pale, with eyes so light they looked almost translucent. "You staying?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "Just for the night." He slid a key across the counter. "Room 7. No paperwork, no questions. There's one rule," he added. I waited. "Don't answer the knock after 2 a.m. I laughed softly, reflexively. "What knock?" "The knock," he said, as if there were only one kind. "And if I do?" I asked. He hesitated, just a fraction too long. "Then it knows you're real." I didn't understand that then. Room 7 was near the end, closest to the trees. Several rooms between were boarded shut from the outside. The wood was scarred. Deep gouges curved inward like something had tried to pull its way through. I unlocked my door quickly and locked it behind me. The room was clean, but it felt untouched, like a set piece. That was when I noticed the notebook on the nightstand. It was cheap, spiral bound, half filled. The first page read, "If you're reading this, you heard the rule." I flipped through slowly. Dates, names, fragments. It sounded like my wife. It cried when I didn't answer. It gets better at pretending. One entry stopped me cold. "It doesn't want your body. It wants your place." The last page ended mid-sentence, the pen dragging off the paper. I didn't sleep much. The forest never went quiet. Something walked outside my window around midnight, slow, deliberate footsteps that paused, then continued. At 1:58 a.m., I was wide awake. At 2:03, the knock came. 3 soft taps, polite. "Ethan," a voice whispered. My sister's voice. "Dead 3 years." "I know you're awake," she said. "You breathe louder when you're scared." My chest tightened painfully. My hands shook. Not violently, just enough that I noticed. Enough to make it hard to think. I stood up. Not because I wanted to, but because standing felt like the only thing keeping me from floating apart. The mirror caught my eye. My reflection was already at the door, smiling. I staggered back as the knocking grew louder, faster. The voice layered over itself, slipping between tones. My sister, my father, my own voice pleading. I locked myself in the bathroom and waited it out, knees to my chest, heart hammering so hard it felt like it might tear something loose. When it finally stopped, the silence felt artificial, like the pause before a breath. Morning came gray and heavy. Footprints waited outside my door. Bare feet, too many toes. They led straight into the forest. I confronted the motel manager. He listened patiently, like I was reciting a known script. "It knocks to see if you'll answer," he said. "If you do, it learns you." "What is it?" I asked. He shook his head. "It's not an it, it's a vacancy." That night, I tried to leave. The road looped, again and again. By the third time I passed the Grey Hollow sign, I was crying. Not hysterically, just quietly, exhausted and confused. When I returned to the motel, the notebook on my nightstand was thicker. New entries. In my handwriting. You can't leave something that's already replaced you. You're the echo now. I stopped sleeping entirely. The knocks came every night, sometimes at my door, sometimes at the walls, sometimes from inside the room itself. Sometimes they didn't knock at all. They just stood outside, breathing, waiting for me to acknowledge them. The mirror stopped reflecting me correctly. Sometimes I blinked and my reflection didn't. Sometimes it moved first. One morning, I saw myself walking into the forest. I don't remember deciding to follow. The trees parted easily, like they'd been waiting. Deep inside, I found things, shapes that resembled houses, rooms grown from bark and shadow, filled with whispers, voices repeating themselves, rehearsing. I understood then. The forest doesn't kill people, it records them. Every fear, every memory, every pattern of thought, it plays them back until the original is unnecessary. The motel isn't a trap, it's a filter. I am not trapped here. I am already gone. Tonight I hear knocking, but it isn't at my door. It's coming from inside the walls. From the mirror. From my chest. Someone new has arrived. I knock softly, politely. I say their name.